let's go like this. And we are all set.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Hello! My ultimate is charging. My ultimate is charging.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You decide to go here, reasonable route.
Escort the payload.
So I'm probably a little less interested in this left route right now. And why am I less interested in this left route that you started on and then changed your mind on?
Well, just getting picked by a widow, I guess.
No.
That's what was in my mind.
Okay. I'm actually thinking
Like,
about
I don't
what
want to
you're...
run in a straight line towards her.
True. But I'm actually thinking about what your team composition is, and I kind of expect either your core to rotate up here or your Genji to rotate up here, and I don't really want to go this way if my Genji, and especially if my Genji and my ball are both going this way. I don't really want to triple team in this direction. I'd actually be more interested in, yeah, I don't want to get caught by a widow, but can I get through this lane? Because I'd rather have different angle pressure than my team if I'm running, with a Genji and a ball here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. And I didn't actually really change my mind. This was my initial plan anyway.
Okay.
To take this route. Okay.
Okay.
I do this on most games.
Got it. Then yeah, this...
Because I just find that long sight line walking up there too dangerous normally.
That makes sense to me, sure. Okay. You're kind of early, so you're using this time to stage.
Yeah,
Good.
so I thought they might have a Mercy to res there.
Sure. That makes sense. They brought a Widow, so naturally, since they brought Widow and Orisa, they brought Lucio, because that makes sense. Instead of Mercy. Okay. So here you are. You decide you're just going to put a little pressure, and I'm okay with this, but I just don't even know that I care. Like, this is like, hey, I'm going to remind you that I'm over here, and I'm like, I don't really want to remind them that I'm over here. They're not really paying attention to me yet. Later in the fight, I'd absolutely pressure them. If they were fighting my team a little more actively, I might pressure them, especially if I was low on blinks, but you've still got plenty of time before this fight turns remotely serious to stage, and I probably want to be spending that time staging right now rather than kind of ineffective poking. You sort of get where I'm going?
Yeah.
Where are you going to go next?
Next, I go to try and spawn camp the Widow who apparently switched to Tracer.
Okay. Then in that case, I don't particularly mind because you were going, hey, I don't care that you know I'm here. I'd actually like you thinking about me here because I'm not going to bother you again, but I'd like you thinking about me like I'm going to because you're actually going to bother someone else. That doesn't work out if she swaps to Tracer, but so be it.
Yep.
Hiding behind your gun. Sure. Pressure. Okay. I don't know if I want to go for that one. So you do this. I'm perfectly happy with that. You've got 32 ammo when you go for the reload, and it's not the worst thing in the world, but I'd have kind of liked to already be firing on Junkrat here, so I'd probably say no, 32 ammo, you were fine. And now you're going on this, and you're committing into this fight, and I guess your Reinhardt is sort of right here. When I say I guess, I'm just sort of in the territory of do I really want to push this? Like, you're here, you took out Junkrat, your ball is not going in, but you are, which suggests that there's something else to deal with behind you, and that something is that Tracer, and we probably would prefer that 2-on-1, but that's fine, we'll take this. You're not getting bothered. Great. It's just sort of pointing out. As long as you don't do anything foolish. Is this because you feel like you need to be specifically on the Tracer, that you have to peel the Tracer?
I guess it's more I just feel like I actually have elimination pressure on her, compared to like the Orisa and the D.Va.
Okay. I mean, in some levels, she does have the most outside angle, making her leave is useful. In other ways, you're supplying angle pressure at a new angle on these guys, whereas, like, they're just
Yeah.
not going to lose a fight in this direction with this Orisa shield, this sort of thing. So I kind of would like to apply pressure here, was you're putting yourself in the direction that they're already applying pressure to peel this Tracer. Okay. I can live with it.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly want to get out of here. Unless they drop. You're going to angle out to the right, right? No, you're going to just push for staggers like this. Fine.
Heroes never die.
The payload has reached the chip.
Earthshatter, ready. Thank you.
Greetings. My ultimate is charged.
I'm a little surprised that you went this way. So you waited here until you got healed up, which is fine. What's
I'm
that?
also just surprised that Soldier was behind.
Yeah, you lived there pretty well. You
Greetings.
get your healing here, and you decide to push this way as opposed to going cave. Sure. And you're just gonna linger now, I expect. Okay. Like, do you really feel like you can get value out of this soft dive? I feel like your ball's timing is just wrong. And you can go in if you're like, I don't want my ball to feed, but is what your ball doing really even remotely useful right now?
I mean, it doesn't look like it will secure anything from this view.
Right, and we're cheating a little
Like,
bit.
yeah.
I'm not trying to really show you that, oh, he's too far away. I'm more pointing out, like, your team is
Yeah,
back
team's
here,
back there.
your Genji isn't set up, like, this fight is going to happen over here, which is really out of the line of sight of your team. Like, if your ball was doing this to make it easier for your team to rotate in, that would be one thing, but this is just kind of a bad engage, and I guess you can go in with the thought of, hey, I need to support my ball's play, but he's probably going to get out more easily than you do at this point, and I don't particularly love that we've now put ourselves in this. They don't pay attention to us, but our staging is kind of gone now.
I could use some healing.
Yeah, like, I really feel like you're in a worse situation for fighting these guys, you personally, than you were when you were chilling over here. You were when you were chilling over here, as the case may be. You'll just fight her, chase her at this point. I don't have much issue chasing her. Like, I look at this, you just know that she used a blink, she used recall here, you have full blinks, full recall, and full health. Yes, she's going to retreat, but is there really anything she can do to you? Like, I think her team is tied up enough that I'm not too worried about her getting a bunch of support and beating you. Are you?
Yeah, I probably could have beat her really in this situation.
Right. So I'd have liked to push this, and
Or at least,
literally just go
yeah.
like this and keep pushing her back, or if, you know, she just left, whatever, fine, I now get access to your back line, and I'll burn your Orisa from behind, or I'll hop over and challenge your soldier. I might not actually hop over and challenge your soldier once I see he has beat and nano, but yeah. Okay.
Time's up.
You don't know the fortified status. Okay. Like this, I look at this. Does this seem like a good pulse bomb in retrospect? Like, there's a diva sitting right above the Orisa. The Orisa, as far as you know, has fortify. This doesn't seem like a great pulse bomb, does it?
No.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
making sure.
Actually, the other game I pulsed Orisa like twice with Fortify as well.
Oh, ouch. And again, it's not the end of the world if her team was maybe stuck a little closer to her, if your team was fighting her a little bit more actively, maybe some extra pressure, but like, no, most of the time we don't want to play Pulse Bomb for a cooldown. That's generally not what we're looking for. Probably just a blank. I mean, I think you're recalling here because you're worried and you want your health back, but you're not going to get that much health back here. I think this is just probably a 180 blink, right? Or do you feel
Yeah.
like... Okay, because I just feel like your recall
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah, no, I
put you in a
agree.
good place.
Nerf this. Suiting up. Activate that beam.
Cool.
Get through this.
The payload. Hello.
Let's try that again.
Sure, but no. So, you do this. You go over here, you go, oh no, I hate it, I'm at 34 health. Well, I could recall and not really solve the problem, or I could drop and go for the mega, right? And it's going to cost me less time to recall than it will to mega,
Let's try that
but I'm
again.
not getting full health out of this recall. It puts me a little closer to the fight. I probably want that mega instead.
Yep.
That's a big cost that you just spent. Cool. Great. Works for me.
On a roll.
Sure.
Oh, that was a fast recall.
What's that?
As in, I got recalled back like on
Oh,
cooldown.
you got it. Yeah, exactly. You used it exactly as it was up there. I agree. But that's just maximizing value, right?
Oh no.
Well, an attempt was made.
I don't know if I can reach it.
Yeah, I know you couldn't tell if you could reach it, and that's why I'm not being too harsh on it. Where you're just sort of like, well, I'll just try. Let me jump shot this pulse bomb. And sadly, it's stuck on the bottom, not the top of the deck there. Okay. Now you know.
Yep.
Heroes never die.
Sure.
Activate that beam.
I really don't want to be living here. So let's go back here just a little bit. Here you are. You're doing tracer things. You're going, hey, I'm going to put pressure on you. Pressure on you guys is great. We have our unfortunate pulse bomb. And then you decided to blink out this way, which I can sort of live with. But what are you getting by having blinked out here? What was the value? Was it just, hey, Lucio's diving me and I don't want to get dive bombed by the frog? Who has a supercharger?
I mean, the only reason I can think of is like I couldn't see them at the time and I wanted an angle on them. But yeah, I should just be waiting for them to come in to me.
I think so, yeah. Like, I look at this and I'm like, I don't really like this. You've put yourself out there where they can potentially shoot you, and I really would have been more interested in, I'll just pop back here and shoot you when you drop, or I'll pop under you and now I'll fight the Orisa from here type thing. Like, those are more interesting to me than let me just blink into the open. And now you go for this, and you take damage out there, and you get your recall used. And yeah, we did some damage to Lucio, but our recall also now takes us right back here, which is still not really a place I want to be in. Like this middle of the fight thing, we live on the edges of the fight, this Tracer. Okay. Sure, you hear him.
Soldier just jukes me.
It's okay. That was early. She has no idea you're here. Maybe she should have heard the blink, and maybe you feel rushed because your team is really not present anymore, but she has no idea that you're here. And you start firing these shots, and A, you haven't lined up your crosshair when you had time to line up your crosshair. B, I can get a little bit closer if this is what I'm going for. Like, I'm not going to get like a full 3 body lengths closer, but I can get a little bit closer, and it's going to put your damage up pretty significantly as you get closer here. So you're really trying for a 1-clip here, because if you don't get the 1-clip, you're just not going to take her. You don't have room to dodge up here, and Soldier and her are going to force you back too quickly. So, like, it was sort of like the difference between you 1-clipping her and you doing 180 damage to her, or whatever the case is everything right here. So, like, I don't care if you do, whereas the difference between you doing 180 damage to her and 20 damage to her is nothing. Like, it doesn't matter if you do 20 or 180 damage to her. So I really wanted to sort of maximum load our opportunity to 1-clip her here. You with me so far?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I remember in the moment, like thinking exactly what you're thinking.
Got it.
Like I've been watching a few of your reviews and you've said it a few times.
You're good. I'm glad.
Wait for me!
Okay. Cool. Nice when that happened. So we did this. We took this down.
Well, that's a bit embarrassing, isn't it?
Not quite sure why we're looking that way, but now we're looking this way, and we're just immediately going to leave again.
I need healing.
Force our way right back in. It's a little interesting crosshair placement. Force back to Diva. I guess they were there before. Okay. That's just a long time for your crosshairs to adjust to where they are. You heard the sleep dart, so now you're going to go after the soldier, okay? Okay.
Let's try that again.
You just lose unless you make the fight used in a specific way. Good, she didn't.
My ultimate is almost ready.
I should talk this through a little more. So here we are. You decide to go fight the Tracer who didn't get beat. That makes sense. Obviously, it's a little bit scary, but hey, we got that off. You decide to finish your reload and go for this. She got the health pack. You don't have recall. You have to assume that she does have recall. We don't really like this situation anymore. Her getting the health pack was just too much. So we need to set this up where, hey, she has to force a corner against us in a bad way. So we need to be in a situation not tight on the corner like that. Why do I not? Okay, you back away from the corner. Why do I not want you tight on the corner like that? Because blink corner melees are an extremely common thing among for high level Tracer play. So it would be extremely normal for her to just sort of be like, and I immediately sort of corner melee'd this, and I can close the angle, or I can keep firing, or whatever the case would be here. But not a big deal. You did correctly go take a corner, which makes it so that she doesn't really have the easiest time pushing you, or would have to spend a blink to push you. And then we've got this. Good.
My ultimate is almost ready.
That's not the best crosshair placement in the world. There's okay, could be an opponent there.
My ultimate is almost ready.
Not going to be an opponent through the wall. Still not going to be an opponent through the wall. I assume you're checking on your teammate and your brain is sort of going right now, but you should hear the Diva, and your crosshair should already be aimed at the Diva, really.
Group up here.
Back in the fight.
Get healed.
Better. Sure.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay, so now you're going to look for an opportunity to ninja it. Nope, she saw you. It's gone.
My
Any reason for these shots in the wall?
I think I just misclicked actually from memory.
Got it. Okay. I'm looking at this and I'm like, we don't usually tell people which direction we're going. Like, enemies, put your crosshairs here.
I mean, at least Diva scouted me already.
She did. It's true. It's true. Okay.
Hey, Halo, ready
It's
to
never
roll.
happening. As soon as Diva saw you the first time, this was never happening.
I got boosters out.
You did.
Is that worth it?
For 6 HP? Sure. We'll take boosters for 6 HP.
heal up.
My ultimate is ready.
We'll take it. I think you just didn't see Lucio.
Is ready.
Like, this is happening, and I know you want this to be secretive, but your crosshair should already be on him. Even if you're wanting to be secretive, that doesn't mean you can't aim at him, right? Like, we look at this, and you want to be secretive, but if anyone, like, there's no reason for your crosshair to be here while being secretive, because it doesn't really change your profile if your crosshair is on Diva right now, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if Diva's going to
So-
boost her at you, fine, I'll shoot at her as I blink out. Might only get 4 bullets off, 6 bullets off, whatever, but I'll shoot at her as I blink out if that's what I have to do. And instead, a Lucio shows up, and I think your eyeballs just don't see it, but your crosshair should already be on this Lucio, because he's clearly seen you now, and now you should be pulling the trigger because we're willing to fight this Lucio if need be. Because now he's sort of got a bit of an advantage in this starting fight, which we don't like.
Ever get that feeling of deja vu?
Great. Well, almost great.
Ever get that feeling of deja vu?
Okay, so like, were we gonna stick her with a pulse bomb, or were we gonna shoot at her? Because she's not really a target that we do both things to, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
we just want to.
If you wanted to just
Choose one or
stick
the
her,
other.
that's totally fine. If you wanted to shoot at her, that's fine. But there's basically no situation where you shoot her and then you change your mind to pulse bomb her, because pulse bomb isn't instant. So you can't be like, oh no, I don't have time, I'm going to pulse bomb her instead because I'm taking damage, because you'll go down too fast when you're taking damage in almost every situation. If you wait to pulse bomb after, you're already taking damage. Nor is there really a situation where like, I want to alert her because pulse bomb's a projectile, I have to aim it, it's kind of annoying, that sort of thing. Like, no. So it's really weird that you
Time's up.
eliminated her and then pulse bombed her. Like, she was low health and I get it, but she's a hero that we were just going to, like, the only situation where we pulse bomb here is like we spent our clip and she's still half health because she naded herself and I don't have time I don't feel like reloading. I'm not going to reload because the Elim is still here for me to get. She can't sleep me. She can't, she can't finish me with a regular shot, that sort of thing. And that's really not what we're looking at.
When
The payload has reached the
when it comes to
checkpoint.
pulse bomb and shooting,
Mhm.
like you would say it's better to just not shoot them if you're planning to use the pulse bomb.
With the exception of tanks that you're forcing cooldowns out of, sure. I mean, you can absolutely
Oh,
be
okay, yeah.
playing around with an Orisa, playing around with a Diva, getting their Fortify out, getting their Defense Matrix out, things like that, and then pulse bomb them, sure. But when
Yeah.
it comes to squishies, you are mostly looking to one-shot the squishy with the pulse bomb, so no, we would prefer that they're not already reacting to us, that we're minimizing their reaction time.
Yep.
I could have microed a little better. This is happening. That's fine. We probably just accept that, hey, this isn't breaking and step in here. Sure. Ultimately, he's going to go down. We'll live. Okay, we're going to get control of left side, left side, left side, left side, left side. That is not left side. Okay.
Move the payload.
You don't really have a teammate to enable, but I don't want their soldier doing this. So, how hard do you think you're winning when you go in here? What's your thought process right now? Is your thought process, let me rephrase that. What's your thought process now? What are you thinking about? Where the next fight's going to take place? Stagger phase? What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking I want to move over to like where those stairs are on the top left of my screen.
These
It's
stairs?
like my initial. Yeah.
Okay.
And I want to like guard that left side,
Okay.
well, like far side.
I'm good with that.
Winston report.
Hello.
But then is your decision changing right here?
But
Because
then,
obviously.
yeah, it
Okay.
changes when I see the soldier.
Okay. And you're thinking, hey, I can chase down the soldier's going to drop, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know it would drop. I just was sort of going underneath to the like mini room. Was my
Okay.
thoughts, I think.
Okay. I guess my concern here is it looks like you're chasing down the soldier, which I can potentially live with, except your Genji's gone. And where is your team?
Yeah, so my team's gonna be on cart probably.
Unfortunately, that's
We'll push
probably
up a little
true.
bit.
If your Genji hadn't eliminated, you'd still potentially have something here. But yeah, your team very predictably is still back here because they're not as fast as you on Tracer. And you're sort of using blinks to engage into a soldier that I don't think is going to be very weak. Yes, he used his Helix rocket, but I don't really want an even fight,
There's the
like,
payload.
based on our status, even if Soldier doesn't get any help in this fight, I'm not sure I want it unless I get the jump on him, and I'm really not going to get the jump on him. I was too loud, right?
Yep.
So I'm probably less interested in this, because now, even though I expect you to get out, he's going to force your resources disproportionately, and you're going to have to surrender more space than if you just calmly went and sort of taken this from him once your Genji went down and said, no, I'm going to hold this, I'm not going to let you have this, and because you're not allowed to have this, we get effectively this for free, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, that's probably how I
So,
would have
yeah,
looked at that. Go ahead.
I guess I need to look more at where the fight's actually happening rather than where the enemies are.
Right, you need to be a little more predictive of where's the next fight actually going to happen and what is actually happening in this stagger phase. Is this truly still a stagger phase? And I don't really think it's a stagger phase anymore. I think these guys are stable, and now we're sort of leaving the stagger phase and entering the setup, forward, choke, forward, hold ahead of the cart phase, and I get a further forward choke ahead of the cart phase if I don't poorly spend resources at the end of the stagger phase, because we sort of go from stagger phase to forward hold ahead of the cart phase. If you think of those as micro phases after a team fight, you could be like, hey, there's the rotation / poke stage, then there's the brawl stage, then there's the stagger phase, then there's sort of the like forward poke phase, then there's sort of the like hold a choke ahead of the objective phase, and then we're sort of back into the rotation / poke phase. We can sort of think of the game like that. And if you go too much, if you get too greedy in the stagger phase or too greedy in the forward poke phase, you end up having to take a weaker hold ahead of the cart phase. That might be more complicated than it needs to be, but does that sort of make sense?
Yeah. That.
Okay,
Yeah, that's good.
cool.
Just a scratch. You'll be fine.
Okay, we go take this. Fortunately, we're able to take exactly what we wanted, so it didn't really hurt us. Sure. Do you realize where the soldier is at this point?
Yeah. With sound cues, I figured it out, I think.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Do you recognize that maybe she's vulnerable? Did you see that nade come out?
No, I don't recall.
Okay, that's fine. So that was the nade that hopefully we just saw there, but not a big deal. And if we saw that nade and I see both tanks in front of me, I'm kind of interested in pivoting after this Ana, because that's probably now A, she's really not that far separated from me, and B, she's now down one of her cooldowns. Her tanks are already in. I don't mind farming her tanks if that's safe, but especially with this visor going, my team's not really going to win this fight anymore. Like, burning tanks isn't really good enough anymore if my team's going to have a chance in this fight. Agreed?
Yep, yeah, with
Okay.
all of my team purple and...
Right. So I want to go take out Ana because that's the only way we're getting back into this fight. Instead, you're playing a pressure tracer. Oh! But she's got nade back because it's been ages, and Lucio's peeling, and that's just not going to work.
Healing enough.
Okay. Good. I probably didn't need to do this. I get what you're worried about. You've got two things going on. You're like, hey, I'm breaking a doorway. Those are always dangerous. And also, I'd like to get into the fight faster. But I'm pretty comfortable that no one's in here.
Yeah.
Like, I have a really good idea of where their team is. And I would much rather have 2 blinks, maybe even 3 blinks available now that I'm in this fight. Yes, you'd have been in this fight a little later, than be in this fight this half second earlier.
Yeah, my Winston had just called that Lucio was 1 there.
Got it. So
So
you're trying
that's-
to
Yeah,
keep
my
up
reasoning.
with it. Sure. Okay. What are you doing? What are you doing? You could not be winning this fight harder. Ugh. Now, it's totally fine with me if you go, like, get staggers. You know, you're like, ah, yes, the 4 of them are alive, 5 of them are alive, they're regrouping. Let me just go pulse bomb someone to stagger them. But that was, like, that stagger was so already belonging to your team.
Yep.
Okay, we're playing with Lucio. That'll happen. So, we're here.
My ultimate is ready. Get in there and I will
I would like Lucio to be eliminated too. But your team has just decided to huddle up on card, and you do this here. And there's just no good way that this is going to be like, oh, I'm going to finish Lucio fast. Well, you're going to get mighty close. But this is sort of a... We always knew that that was their spawn. Like, this is really a little more in the open than I want. Like, yeah, we should have just been a little bit more aware of when we opened the sightline on their spawn specifically and been a bit more here. I think you're also getting worried about the self-destruct. The reality is, like, us being out a little bit on our own, obviously, is what we're going to do as Tracer, but this was just a little too much like our team has no degree of map control whatsoever. We're going to have to play this tighter on corners, that sort of thing. We'll deal. Not the end of the world.
All systems checked out.
The payload is
Yep.
approaching its destination. That makes
Sure. Okay. Just farming him a little.
60 seconds
Much
remaining.
better.
Wavy with our aim, but that's fine.
Get that feeling, deja vu.
We're gonna put some pressure there. I don't really think you could retreat this way. Don't get me wrong, I hate it, but I don't think you could retreat this way because I don't think you can maintain over here. I think your retreat had to be over this way because, like, this is hostile territory that you really don't have any good place to go from. Like, they're going to have sightlines on you with their backline. They're going to have people that can collapse on you. This isn't really a great place to be. You needed to play a little more where your team could threaten them. But ultimately, we're going to be okay. Fine. Okay. We're going to try and do flank. Crosshair Blaze movement a little bit better. Sure. Okay. So, you got 2 good options here. What are your 2 good options?
Blink
Mm-hmm.
out of the bomb.
Blinking out of the bomb would be the first good option, but where are you going to blink? Because you've kind of put yourself in a spot where a single blink doesn't get you out and you're out of time. I mean, 1 blink does get you out over here, so is this the blink we're talking about?
Well, in hindsight, I guess, but
Okay. And I can tell
it's
you're
difficult
stuck.
to realize in the moment.
You don't realize which way's out, and I totally get that. But what's the other way that you can dodge self-destruct if you're just like, shoot, I don't know which way to go?
Yeah, so recall.
Right, you've got iframes and recall, and it sucks to spend recall on it, but you definitely
winning this
die
fight
if you
pretty
don't
hard.
do something right here. What's that?
Potentially.
Yeah.
We could potentially win this fight pretty hard. Unfortunately, Genji does too.
That's true.
Back to
10 seconds remaining.
payload stop.
Payload moving.
Unfortunate.
Time out. I am a star.
Okay, so that's fine. That's perfectly defendable. We would have liked to finish the map, but perfectly defendable.
Ready for battle.
Coming in.
Oh, hello.
Hiya. Hi.
S tier scouting right here.
Acknowledge.
5, 4, 3,
Hello.
1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
So at this point in time, I'm like trying to set up to block their tracer from getting in.
Yep.
So I tried to predict where she's gonna go. And I
Okay.
thought she was gonna go under.
Yep.
Yep.
Which is where she went, which is totally reasonable. And are you up here because you're trying to block both upper and lower lanes, or are you up here because you decided, I guess she's not going lower?
Actually, I did think she was upper.
Okay,
Sorry.
got
At this
it.
point,
No
and
problem.
then I realized later.
No problem. Okay, so you have to think about who's holding what lanes when you're doing your setup, because blocking their tracer is good, but
Stop the
ultimately
payload.
you might be thinking, hey, I need to mark their tracer, I need to stop their tracer, but you can't pick which way their tracer goes. You can only figure out which lanes are better for her versus her teammates, and which lanes are your teammates holding. And unfortunately, your teammates, well, let's look at it like this. We'll rewind one more time.
Stop
Where
the
are your
payload.
teammates holding? What are your teammates effectively holding right now?
Well, main
Yeah?
as
yeah.
well as the like where ball is, I would guess.
Right, I would
Would
say
be like their two most effective.
they're holding
ults.
main, and they're holding this, and this less effectively, but hey, Ball can slam here, Sigma's orbs will reach this far. This is going to be their secondary hold. No one really is holding this, and no one really is holding this. So you just have to decide effectively between those two for what you're going to control, is how I'd think about this, because you don't need to triple up, or you don't need to double up on holding this. That's less useful than holding a different route. And also, if you're here, it's going to be hard-ish to use this to get behind them, unless it's not that hard to use this to get behind them. Like, you could wait and go behind them. But I'd be more looking for a new way in on this team, which this would be if they're, if they swapped off Tracer, or if their Tracer goes a different way and you go, okay, well, I want to be able to go in. So I'd have liked to hold lower here. That would have been perfectly fine with me. I'm less interested in holding upper. I could hold this, but, this is sort of like, they have a little bit of trouble crossing here. You can wait here and then go in if you want. Long story short, this is sort of my least interesting lane outside of this, I suppose. Make sense?
Yep.
Cool.
Enemy detected. Activating the barrier.
And she was going high, then she dropped. So maybe you predicted her correctly, but minor problem there. So you did this. You went, aha. She hasn't actually hurt you yet, and you went to deny it. I get it. She shot at you. You probably figured she'd hurt you. She actually hadn't. That's life. Yeah, okay.
Let's try that again.
I don't really know that I want to force that, like, after I've started to lose this fight. So you go here. You do this. Let's go back one more time. So you do this. This we all understand. You just didn't realize you hadn't taken damage yet. You hit your recall.
Let's try that again.
I probably don't actively want to force this fight again. Like, why are you so interested in actively forcing this fight now that you've used recall and she hasn't? Because you just blinked yourself back in here, spending an extra blink. This isn't a, hey, I'm not letting her get in on my team. This is you actively taking the fight when she has recall advantage and, she's not exactly behind on health. So what's your thought process here? I'm better than her. I mean, that's okay. Like, that could be the thought process.
It could be that, but
okay.
As well, I just don't feel like she's in the best position to actually end up eliminating me.
Okay.
And I feel like I may as well fight her rather than do nothing.
Sure. Who's going to spend health unevenly at this point? Or you don't feel like she's going to eliminate you. Do you feel like you're in a good position to eliminate her, or to at least force recall and not die?
I feel like I could do that.
Okay.
Like force recall and then get out.
Okay. Why do you feel like that's on the table? Because you have one more blink than her? Because the geometry is bad? Because your team can support you and hers can't support her? Talk to me.
More just the team support.
Okay. You feel
and
like you have better
the team support is making me feel
does.
safer than her.
Okay.
Even though she has recall advantage.
She has recall advantage. Her Anna's back here. I just don't feel like you're going to get very much team support where you are back here, but okay. I can live with that.
I'm
I
seeing
maybe
that now.
Okay, so you thought you had better team support. Got it. Because I'm looking at this and I'm going, really? Like, wait. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Sure. That's fine. I probably don't do that. So you go here. You're doing this. I'm gonna live with that blink to pressure, no problem. I really am not gonna spend these 2 blinks though. Like, you just use 2 blinks to get back here faster, and I get that you're trying to get up there to help them, but is there really any point in going down to 0 blinks here? Like, you're still not there and you're at 0 blinks. And you might be thinking, it's okay, I'm gonna have time, I'll recharge a blink by the time I'm in the fight, and I'm potentially good with that, but what if the other tracer is double blinked over here, and now there's a tracer in front of you and you have no blinks?
Yeah, then I could very well be dead.
Right. So I'd rather, even if you're in a situation where you've decided the appropriate amount of blinks to have when you show up to this fight is 1 blink, that's fine. I'd rather you use the single blink here, and then you walk on your feet and hop up here, and maybe you use a single blink here, and then you still have you still have your final blink available, as opposed to what you do, which is, let me just spend all my blinks because I think I'll be safe.
Yep. And then Tracer taught me that you can blink up there this game.
Oh, you didn't know that. Got it. Yeah, you definitely have a way to do that. And you're like, oh, hey, look at this. I love it. Oh, okay. You were just trying to spend your health there because you've already decided you were going to recall, sure. Blink again. Go left again. Ouch. So this is a little bit painful in that you try for it, you miss the melee, you're out of tools, so you just decide, I've got nothing, I'm going to try this. And now it really sucks, but you're done. You cannot, like, you could step forward and blink, or step forward and melee, but, like, I just don't really think you can win anymore unless you know that his clip is empty. What about you?
Yeah, and at this point, I think his flash would be coming back up as well.
Right. Like, this just feels all sorts of wrong, so you probably just need to be holding down that recall button right now. It sucks, but you probably need to be.
Yep. And then he headshots me.
Yep.
Tactical goggles activated.
Fighters don't give up. We just need a solid repair every once in a while.
Okay. Sure, you immediately blank. Another blank. Now you just win. That was probably a melee earlier rather than your spray. It's fine. Looking at this, I get that you want damage. You go for this. I probably just melee here immediately. Like, I look at this and I'm like, hey, this is challenging and annoying and reliable damage is enough. You're 2v1ing, but up to you. Why? So you go up here, and there's an Anna up there, and this Anna's probably going to get pile drove by your ball. Maybe your ball doesn't have pile drive, but why are we blinking on top of this Anna right now?
I think I'm just in a hurry.
Okay.
Trying to-
Settle on down. Let's bring that back in.
Yeah.
Because I look at this and it's just like, hey,
The fight's starting to get under control.
Right, I'll get over here. My ball's probably going to slam her. That'll bring her up to an appropriate height for me to fight her. I have an angle above her. I'm not right on top of her, but angle above her for extra headshots. I'm pretty happy. And I don't want to use my last blink to put myself in the open. Now I'll have another blink and recall, but I don't feel the need to be here. Yeah. Like, that was a clean, not 3v1, but, like, that was a clean fight that you guys had on here that you just made kind of messy.
Valkyrie is ready.
Okay.
Back to work. Help me.
Sure. Yep. Yep. Good pulse bomb. Recall, sure. Fight. Don't really want to blink into this. I don't have the tools to blink into this. Like, you do this, and you go, hey, I really want this because I want it. Right here. You just blinked in aggressively with your last blink. Like, why?
Yeah. I mean, I'm feeling the pressure at this point.
Okay.
Like,
So when you have less
So-
blinks, go ahead.
but yeah,
I want you
having
to play.
no blinks is not helpful.
No, right. Like going, I'm going to use my last blink to try to. If you're in an isolated 1v1, sure, use your last blink to finish someone off. But most of the time in team fight scenarios, when you're down to your last blink, you actually want to be playing around cover, and you can play a more annoying, a more like, I'm going to be annoying over here. I'm going to be annoying playing around this cover, this health pack. You're looking to play more like edge of the fight outside with cover, sort of in a like annoying manner and less in a lethal manner, because one of Tracer's strengths is she's really hard to take down, and you can play in this outside the fight, just light pressure on them manner until you regenerate blinks, which really doesn't take very long, and then you can go hard again. But like, we don't want to go hard, and in this situation you might be like, but if I don't get them right now, we're not going to win, and I'm sort of like, you're just
You're not gonna
not
win
going
no
to
matter
win. Right, you're just not going to win, and let's slow down the card. But okay.
Yeah. Would have been nice to have some staging behind them.
My ultimate is ready. Point there.
I'm back.
Sure. Okay.
Behind you.
Okay, I don't want to be here anymore. It's too direct. Yeah.
Behind you.
So you guys sort of broke out and you're waiting to get healed. And this is the main path. And you're Tracer, so you're allergic to the main path. You're like, yeah, I heard of that main path. Let me go figure something else out to do. Is there something over here? Is there something over here? Is there something over here? Like, I don't want to push up here. No, thank you. Like, okay, I'm going to trade with their tanks a little bit. That doesn't really feel like something I want to do. Okay, we broke through. It was expensive to do so. Diva's correctly figured out she can disproportionately pressure us. Based on our relative health pools, not based on absolute health. Good, we were able to stay here. Uh-huh.
Time. Kicking on. Back in the fight.
Don't do it. Good.
Now, where were we?
Okay. So I can live with this long-range poke thing because you're in this low blink situation. But is this a good place to do it from? Like, this cover is kind of weak as cover, and you're not even really using it all that well. So like, I'd probably like to rework my way in over at this angle or something like that. Or if I am going to play this angle, I want to play it a little tighter on this cover now that I'm low resources. But that's life.
Heroes never die.
Okay. We have blinks. We'd like to find something to do. She's something to take out. You just heard her wrong. In hindsight, do you know where she is?
Yeah, in the hotel, is it? I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's
Everyone
fine. I just
left.
wanted to make sure that you could, in hindsight, hear that. In the moment, I get that you got stressed. Okay.
I mean, I also just know from hindsight where she was.
Yes, yes. Okay, so this happened. You went here.
Just in time.
I just want to leave, but that, like, only sort of helped. Like, you blinked over here, and it's like, aha, I've changed the angle. I mean, yeah, you've changed the angle, it's true, but I was probably happier to back out with the blink in a direction that there's a little more cover. Like, you've changed this angle, but they can instantly make you blink again, and you're not getting more dangerous on this angle, are you? You didn't get, like, a dodge plus more threat to the opponents? So I look at this and go, I'd have actually probably just like a directional backwards blank, like, hey, I am here, and fine, I'll back away a little bit further, and then I'll just walk my way back up and go back to poking. But okay. And then we use this blank, and we just can't use this blank like this. Like, this is our last blank. This is our last blank. And after using our last blink, are we in cover?
No.
Right.
No.
So we really have to be thinking as we get low run resources about where we're going to be able to play from that's safe. Now, it's different if the fight is over and you're just like, well, my last blink is going to put me on the cart and I'm going to stop the cart. But we really have to understand as we get low run blinks how our last blink is going to bring us to safety, because we should just not be counting on our opponents to not hit shots for us to live unless we're making them not hit those shots by blinking them. And this is totally on your opponents for not hitting shots here. Totally, you had zero to do with whether you lived or died there. And hey, you died.
And I died.
So where could you have gone instead? Like, again, earlier you could have blinked
Yeah.
over here, but even over here you had the option of going, nah, I'm just going to blink back over here, and now I have this to play with.
An
This sort of
angle
thing.
and-
Right, exactly. Perfect.
Like they're not looking at me because I'm over there.
And you'll do less damage, but, like, that's kind of the point. We'll take anything. We'll take our life plus anything.
Hello.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Let's try that again.
That was probably an unnecessary final blink plus recall there, but okay. Good.
Nice one.
We're gonna take right side. No, we're gonna do this. Good. Probably can't make me. So I look at this. Sure. But if I'm now here with just one blink, admittedly the next blink is close, I'm probably not willing to walk. I'm probably not willing to. Oh, did you just walk? Or did I just mistime this?
No, I think I blinked.
No, you blinked and then your blink came back. Yeah, that's fine. I'm probably not that interested in going in this hard, especially because I saw where the diva was, and I think you did too. Okay, go like this. Go like this. Is your team ready to hard dive this team? Like, do you have a Brig in there swinging, a Winston zapping them all, a Hammond that's pile driving them? Do you have a brawl that's happening right now?
No, we just have a soldier that's dead.
A what?
Like,
Oh,
a
you've
dead
got
soldier.
a little bit more than a eliminated soldier. Like, your team is applying some meaningful pressure from this direction, and I'd like you to apply some meaningful pressure from this direction. But this is mostly retreated into a poke
From
phase,
in
not a
the
brawl
doorway.
phase. Exactly. Exactly. And I'd like you to go, we'll just beat you guys slowly with our angle advantage, with our poke advantage from having this angle, rather than we're going to do this where, you probably want her. I get why you want her eliminated, but it's just not real in this.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay.
Deja vu.
Sure. Kind of asked for that. Here you are. You went like this. Hey, we got the Moira. This is great. This is fantastic. Why do I need to force a fight with this McCree who I haven't seen use flashbang? Like, we already got the Moira and our ball got out alive. Do you feel like your ball's going to go down if you don't put pressure on this McCree this instant? Is that maybe what's driving this?
I mean, what's driving this is just that I can eliminate him.
Okay. Okay.
I think I can if I don't get flashed.
Sure.
Sniper!
Okay, I mean, if that's the case, though, this definitely needed to be blinked. I would have more looked at this from a perspective of this is kind of greed territory because we did this.
We got the Moira already.
We got the Moira, and now I'm real interested in, hey, I can keep doing damage to him from here. I can literally keep doing damage to him from here, and he's not looking at me, and that's great. Or I can circle deeper and go do damage from here, and like either one of these things are just gonna win. I don't really feel a need to get into his face and into flash range.
Risking my life.
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, I could have just pressured him regardless.
Exactly. Like you were like, I'm gonna force this close range fight against McCree, and I'm like, but why though?
We just need a solid repair, everyone.
Yep. Now you tilt him because he didn't get us a limb with the flashbang. Nice. Okay. That was a very short Widow stint. Okay. Yeah, I guess you can't do that one as Tracer. Think for a second.
Oh yeah, I was not trying to make that jump.
Yeah, not a big deal. I mean, you'd have to invest a little more to get that one, we'll just say. But okay, so you were not trying to make that. You just went here.
Yeah. That was not even on my mind.
Got it. Got it. I'm just deciding if what you had information-wise. You're here. You see their Tracer. I'm not really sure I want to go here. Like, yeah, your team can support you a little bit here, and that's got something nice to it. I just really don't think I want to be in the middle of this right here. Like, I sort of look at this and go, hey, you're between two groups of their team. I don't really like it. Yes, your team can back you up a little bit in fighting this Tracer, but I just don't feel like this is a good place to be. I'm probably not willing to blink back here to go around on them either, even though you might surprise the Tracer because you just don't even get team support there. I'm probably just looking at this and more going, hey, I'm going to poke at these guys from up here. I don't feel a great need to fight their Tracer unless she starts to go across, in which case, sure, you can do your own version of going across. So I'm not sure you jump into this one, to be perfectly honest. And by I'm not sure, I mean don't. But that's okay. Yeah. Sure, no recall, goodbye. Okay. Unfortunately, he's got health back. You should still be able to win. Good. You're trying to keep up with the rally to get some health, and as a result, get out. So yeah, I can live with that.
Yeah, I was just going for stagger kills at that point.
Yep. Well, you couldn't really go for staggers without getting some health, but there was a rally up there, so I get it. You gonna circle behind this time? Please? Please circle back. Why though?
Wait, what do you mean by circle behind? I'll go that way.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was looking for. You can stage behind these guys relatively safely. It's okay. This has just not worked well. So, you just brute force this. She correctly challenged your staging. She's doing good things here, where she's going, hey, I'm not going to let you in. I'm going to play a little bit of damage pressure. And now you're choosing, while missing a bunch of health, use a blink to break the doorway, used a blink to go in on her, and now you're going to use a blink to go into this fight. And yeah, you're going to get another blink, but you went into this fight with 100 health and 1 blink and recall. Does that seem like a good idea?
Not particularly.
Right. So she correctly
Yeah, it
took
feels
away...
like
Go ahead.
yeah. Feels like I should still like sort of be staging here.
Right. You can just chill here and be like, I'm going to wait till I recover some blinks and I'm going to play with the diva. Or, oh, McCree's paying attention to me? Fine. I'll leave and go get the health pack and then maybe I'll play from here, this sort of thing. Or maybe I'll work my way back up here. But, like, you just have to accept that she did her job. She denied your staging. And now you're going to have to re-get your health, then reset it back up. Or recover some blinks and then reset it back up type thing. You can, you can just play this slower pressure cook style as opposed to this hard dive style because you're down on resources.
I'm back.
Okay. Sure.
You need a timeout. Ever get that feeling, deja vu? You need a timeout.
Yeah, you kind of fed. So, like, you do this. Cool.
Ever get that feeling of deja vu?
I can't really go back into this fight. Now, if you feel like, no, I have to stop the cart right now, that's okay, and I'll live with you going back into this fight. But, I don't know, I see other teammates on your screen. If you feel like I've got to be the one to deal with cart, sure. But there's no way you're finishing this Moira off here. This is like you going in like you have the tools to eliminate her when you definitely don't. Like, she's still got orb. She's in the middle of her team. Her health hasn't been pre-pressured down by either you putting pressure on her or you seeing something like a McCree shot, a Fair Rocket, a Zen Orb, a Discord. You haven't seen anything hit her. You don't know that she's out of abilities. You can't really go in to finish her off here. So if you're going in, it's got to be to contest this cart. And are you, I mean, okay, I guess you're contesting the cart now. It's a little inconsistent whether contests will count at this distance or not, but is that what you're thinking right now? I need to contest the cart while I'm trying to apply some pressure, or are you going, hey, I'd like to eliminate this Moira?
I think that was part of it, but I think most of it was just I need to eliminate the Moira.
Okay, you can't. You're not ready to eliminate this Moira. You have to soften this team up more. Okay. And this is what happens when you rush stuff when either your team isn't enough of a distraction or you haven't softened them up enough to get yourself ahead on health, abilities, etc. Okay, not a big deal. Sure. Here we are. Pressure on the diva. This is what we do when we need to recharge resources. We like this. Okay. Cart's reasonably well contested. I'm probably not forcing my way in this way. It's way more likely that since Ball was contesting my cart, I walk through over here and pressure them from over here. Because if I'm ready to turn it up to first gear and actually, or second gear, however we want to think about this, and actually go for an elimination, which it looks like you're now ready to do, I'm not doing it by blinking in from the direction they're already looking if I have the option of having gone another way. Like, this was the correct place to pressure from, to go, I'm going to get resources from. This was the correct place to try to get eliminations from. Okay. And unfortunately, it looks like that's the end of it. So that happened. I think you're going to have a pretty good idea of the major topic that I want to cover here. But why don't you see if you can phrase this into a couple points, a couple major concepts that maybe make sense to work on here. If you can't, no problem. I'm happy to formulate them. But if you can do so in your own words, they tend to stick a little better and be easier for you to think about while playing.
Yeah, so I guess the major concept would possibly be like, actually I'm a bit torn between whether it would be more to do with like pressure cooking them, or
Okay.
like in your words, and just like waiting more for them to be, for me to have more of an advantage in the fight
Right.
before
But
I force it.
I'd say you can combine those concepts. Like, yes, we could split up those concepts. I call it pressure cooking, and then, we could call it, diving from there. But what you're doing when you're pressure cooking them is you're regaining blinks, hopefully, and you're costing them resources. That's sort of what you're trying to do as Tracer in that situation. It's not always that simple because sometimes you need to keep using blinks to maintain your concave on them. But what you're sort of doing is you're going, I'm going to wear them down on resources, or put another way, I'm trying to get ahead on resources. But you're not very committal most of the time when you're cooking them like that. So another way that we
Yep.
could put it, if we were thinking about this from a more individualistic style and less a how do we win as a team style, could be more of a, hey, when I'm low on blinks, I want to play towards cover. When I'm low on blinks and health, I want to play with cover and, just be annoying until I get blinks back and I'm ready to go in. When I'm high on blinks, I can potentially make assassination plays, right? Like, you could really frame that
Yep.
either way, whichever way helps you understand it better. I generally use the first way when I'm teaching teams. I frequently use the second way when I'm teaching tracers. It kind of applied in this case because of the situation you were in with that Moira of, hey, you can't go make a play on this Moira, like it's just not going to work yet. Because
so I need to
more
have the resources.
you need to have the resources, and sometimes you're going
and
to
a
need
reason to
them
go
to
in
be weaker,
sometimes.
or a reason, or teammates that are a distraction, something. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So I think that's reasonable as a major concept if you can wrap your head around that. What else did we say that was maybe important, interesting, repetitive, something that, like, hey, we maybe saw this more than once?
I'm thinking maybe do with my pulse bombs a little bit, like on that Orisa.
Yeah, I think pulse bombs are a reasonable
And
place because I can think of more than one pulse bomb place. The
and like
Orisa
the Winston
happens,
bubble.
the Winston bubble, and also when you went with the, like, let me know you here, let me let you know I'm here, Anna, and then pulse bomb the ground because you're already gone. So I think we found a
Yeah.
few pulse bombs, and while there's slightly different reasons, I think there's areas to improve on our pulse bomb. So we'd like to pulse bomb. We're going to pulse bomb squishies when we're pretty confident we can get them with it before they know we're there. And we're going to pulse bomb tanks when irrelevant cooldowns aren't in play. And in general, we're going to pay a little bit more attention for divas when we're pulse bombing. That's kind of how I'd wrap that up with not the prettiest, but wrap that up a bit with a bow of, hey, we pulse bomb squishies as a fresh thing, like right sort of at the beginning. We pulse bomb tanks after we've gotten resources out. We pay attention to, hey, where's Devo when we're thinking about pulse bomb. Does that seem like a fair way to think about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
So those are probably, like, as a main point, how I'd think about this. I'd say there's more to think about with you in terms of maintaining outside lanes and thinking about outside lanes, but you're naturally going to get some of that if you keep your focus on some of this pressure cooking type stuff, which is sort of where I want you, or this low resource recover, high resource get out thing. You're naturally going to end up on outside lanes more if you're doing that. So I don't actually feel the need to make it its own point. It may very well be in the future, but again, I don't want to overload you. It's not like you can work on 5 things at once. I really want you to put the focus on, as you get lower on resources, play more on the outside with cover. That's what's going to take you the furthest right now, okay?
Yep.
Cool. Then any questions, comments, final thoughts?
I think I'm okay for now.
Perfect. Then I'll go ahead and call this one here. Should have it uploaded for you in the next day or so. And it's been great.
That would be helpful.
Reach out to me when you're ready for another one, and good luck to you, man.
Yeah.
Perfect.